Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, Dominating Your Market in a Shift with your MAPS coach, Jackie Kravitz. Please note this webinar is being recorded and you will automatically receive the webinar recording. If you have questions for your coach, please type them into the questions box located in your webinar taskbar. Following the webinar, if you have any question about today's call or coaching program, please email us at fasttrack@kw.com. That's fasttrack@kw.com. And just a reminder, you will all receive this recording as well as a link for the program. That's all for me. Jackie, go ahead and take it away.
Thank you, Jasmine. Happy New Year, everyone. What an exciting time to be having this webinar and talking about how to dominate your market. You know, the interesting thing about the title of this webinar today, when you think about how is it that you become a great listing agent, MREA focuses on lead listings leverage. When you take bold, a big part of bold is to help all of the agents focus on seller listings, because that is how you dominate your market, by being a great listing agent. And it is a very exciting time because, as we've been hearing for a while now, the market pretty much all over the United States has started to shift. What does that mean? That in most major markets, we are seeing an increase in inventory. So the inventory has been going up and the number of sales have been going down. Not any huge changes every month, and yet small changes, a little bit more inventory and a few less sales every month for the last several months. And this presents all of you with a tremendous amount of opportunity. And some of you might have heard of the program that I coach, the group program called Dominate Your Market. And it is a program focused on for sale by owners and expireds. Now, the exciting part about this is it doesn't matter if you are in a shifting market that's transitioning from a seller's market to a buyer's market, or you are in a plain seller, strong seller's market or strong buyer's market. For sale by owners are always an incredible source of immediate business, immediate, quick listings from Fsbos and Expired. Now, if you've taken bold before, and I trust that the majority of you have, and you might have taken bold time and time again. We have a new bold launch starting next week. If you have not taken bold, go on mapscoaching.com, click on the bold tab, find the location near you, and sign up for bold. In bold, we have several bold laws, and one of them is the one you see on the screen. What you focus on expands. And why do I bring this up right now in the beginning of the call? For sale by owners and expired listings are a source of immediate business for every single one of you. In a shifting market, it's just a lot easier to list a lot of Fsbos and expireds than it is in a strong seller's market, even though you can do it in any market, as I did in my real estate career. In a shifting market, you're going to see an increased number of expired listings, and there will always be, no matter what the market conditions are, a lot of for sale by owners. And the advantage in a shifting market is that properties are sitting on the market longer. Inventory is growing. So for sale by owners in a shifting market are going to have a lot harder time even getting any potential bookers or buyers calls than they would in a stronger seller's market. So bottom line is, in a shifting market, Fsbos need your help more than ever. The only challenge with Fsbos, as we're going to touch on in a few minutes, is they don't realize that they actually need you. And this is why in bold in step 3, when we discuss for sale by owners, we talk about a problem. Diana talks about giving FSBOs a problem presentation, which is in essence helping them understand that they have problems that when you first talk to them, they just don't think that they do. So tremendous opportunities. Now, I want you to consider this. Lead generation has to be the foundation of your real estate business. And of course, when you're lead generating, you are going to speak with your past clients and sphere of influence. You're going to build that strong database. And also, you are going to be calling Fsbos and Expired. Now, this again, in step 2 of bold, we cover expired listings. Step 3, for sale by owner. Step 4, the database. Step 5, more database, because Diana clearly understands that these 3 sources should be the focus of your lead generation every single day. And when you think about what is lead generation, first of all, it's having conversations with people about buying and selling real estate. So you can find people who want to buy or sell, preferably sellers, because listings is what listing agents are the ones that dominate their market. And it's the, again, foundation of MREA. Now, the purpose of lead generation or talking to people about buying or selling real estate is to find someone who wants to sell so you can set a listing appointment. That is the goal. That is the focus of your lead generation. And when you think about what you focus on expands, I want you to ask yourself this question. When you hear me say Fsbos and Expireds or immediate business, there is no better source of immediate business than Fsbos and Expireds. Do you believe that? Because if you know, you've learned in bold, 90% of success is mindset. If you believe that it will work for you, it will. You're going to find great leads that are going to set appointments. You're going to go out and take listings from Fsbos and Expired. If you don't believe that, if you believe it's hard, I called an expired once and they hung up on me, and boy, they were so rude. And I've talked to 2 or 3 Fsbos before, and boy, they're really stubborn and they don't want to hear it, and they think they can sell it on their own. And you know what? This is it's just too hard. It's not going to work for me. Well, whatever you believe, you put your focus on, that's what you're going to experience. So the reality of Fsbos and Expireds is this. They are listing with real estate agents every single day. 50% of expired listings relist their property within 48 hours of the property expiring. 80% of for sale by owners within 3 weeks of starting as a Fsbo, they list with an agent. So if you believe that, if that is your focus, and your belief, that's what you're going to find. And if it is not what you believe, well, another agent is going to take those listings. Your belief doesn't change the fact that 50% of expireds are going to list within 48 hours and 80% of Fsbos are going to list in 3 weeks. They're just not going to do it with you. And why is that? When it comes to mindset, in bold, we talk about this. Your programming leads to your thoughts. Your programming, meaning the beliefs that you have, they lead to a certain way of thinking. And that certain way of thinking makes you feel a certain way. You may love Fsbos and Expireds, or you may just hate Fsbos or Expireds. So your thoughts make you feel a certain way. How you feel, it's going to cause you to take action or not, and that's going to produce your results. So if you're listening to this call right now and you're thinking, yeah, that I haven't had that great experience, or I've heard from other agents that have had a challenge with FSBOs and expireds, and you believe that, then that's what you're going to experience. You gotta create a new mindset around this so you can take advantage of the even more and more and more opportunities that are going to be available with FSBOs and expireds in this shifting market. So when you look at the screen, your job as a great listing agent is to get listing agreements signed. And in order to do that, you have to go on listing appointments. In order to go on listing appointments, you got to set some appointments. And in order to set appointments, you need to listing appointments specifically, you have to lead generate. And the fastest way to set listing appointments through your lead generation is calling FSBOs and expires. There is no better source of immediate business. These are high impact calls because you are talking to people that want to sell their house. FSBOs have their house for sale and they have not chosen an agent yet. There is no better source ever than talking to somebody that you already know wants to sell the house. Expired listings, you know they've been on the market for the last 6 months, so clearly they want to sell the house. Don't have the mindset that, well, they must not be that motivated because if they were, they wouldn't be priced so high. Obviously, they expired because the price is high. Most of the time, they are expired at a high price because their agent did not educate them in regards to the price. So check what your beliefs are because that's going to turn out to be your experience. Now, in order to have success with expired listings, you need to be aggressive. And aggressive doesn't mean pushy. Okay? Aggressive means that since we know that 50% of expireds will list within 48 hours, if you don't have urgency, okay, so there are different ways of looking at this word aggressive. In this context that I'm speaking about right now, in order to set appointments with these new expireds, you have to have urgency and be aggressive in getting a hold of them as soon as possible. Because if you don't, think about this, and I'm sure all of you would, if you've ever called expired, you would agree with this. It's competitive. When you call an expired listing, you're not the only agent calling. They're getting calls from numerous agents. And so if you don't call them the very first day when they expired, if you wait to call the next day or you wait 2 or 3 days, they're easier to talk to 2 or 3 days later than they are the day that they expired. And yet you're missing out on 50% of them that are going to list within the first day or two. And they're going to get a lot of calls that first day. And that 50% that's motivated to sell, they're going to set some appointments from the agents that are calling that first day. So you need to have urgency in calling expireds on the day that they come out of the market. And preferably as early as possible, because the later you call, and I can't tell you how early you should call, okay? That you need to speak with your team leader about that. There's some state regulations that at certain hours for you to actually make your lead generation calls. So speak with your team leader about that. And at the same time, you have to call them in the morning. And the biggest challenge you're going to have with a brand new expired that expired today is they're not very happy people. As a matter of fact, they're pretty upset, and rightfully so. Put yourself in their situation, because I can empathize with what expireds have gone through and experienced in the last 6 months. They listed the property with an agent because obviously they had a desire to sell. And most likely started to make plans and think about where they would be moving to. In some cases, they've bought a property with the expectation that they're hiring a professional that's going to get the job done. And here they are, 6 months later, with an unsold property. And the day that that property comes off the multiple listing system, they're getting bombarded with phone calls from real estate agents. I wouldn't be happy if I was in that situation. So I want you to think about how these expireds are feeling. So this mimicking and matching, we teach this at First Step to Bold. This mimicking and matching is learning how to sound like they do. So when they are angry and frustrated, your job is to sound angry and frustrated with them, not at them. And why is mimicking and matching is the most powerful skill for you to build instant rapport with somebody you don't know, no matter what their emotions are. In this case, most brand new Fsbos and Expireds are angry and frustrated. And being angry and frustrated with them causes them to feel comfortable with you, because people like people who are like themselves. So if they're angry and frustrated and you're happy and peppy, you're going to drive them crazy. Okay, they get angrier. You've heard the saying that misery likes company. Yeah, so being able to relate to them, and that first line out of your mouth, the first line on that expired script, you got to be able to mimic and match their emotion, their rate of speech, the volume of their voice based on their hello. And that's a skill you develop. In Dominate Your Market, we talk a lot about this skill, which is critical to building rapport with expireds and Fsbos as well. And then with expireds, obviously it's critical that you speak confidently. Most expireds are discouraged. They don't, obviously their agent didn't do their job, and they don't want to even consider even talking or even speaking with you for 2 minutes, much less setting a listing appointment and meeting with you and listing with you, if you don't sound confident. You sound like you know what you're doing. You're confident that you can get the property sold. If you sound hesitant, you're going to lose them instantaneously. Okay? And when you speak, when you act confident, you will be confident. Just as you hear Mo Anderson Bold in that video, as she says, when you act into enthusiastic, you will be enthusiastic. But when you act confident, you will be confident. And this is, again, it's a decision you make and how you're going to sound on that call so you could engage them in conversation. Now, for sale by owners, we already talked about this. The purpose of lead generation is to find someone who wants to buy or sell, preferably sell. Every Fsbo wants to sell. There is no better lead generation you can do than calling a for sale by owner, than speaking with someone who you already know has to sell their house. In Dominate Your Market, I am going to give you scripts, dialogues, objection handlers. We're going to do role plays on almost every single call. You're going to volunteer to role play, and you're going to hear how I deliver those scripts. You're going to hear this mimicking and matching and repeating and approving and using embedded commands and downswings and tie downs and closing. You're gonna have the script. You're gonna learn. You're gonna hear the role plays. These calls are all recorded, so you can really focus on building your skills and understanding the market, the staff, having the tools and the strategies so you can take advantage of the amazing opportunities that this shifting market is already giving you with these Fsbos and expireds. Now, when you think about for sale by owners, they are selling on their own because they believe that they can do just as good a job as a real estate agent and they will save the 6%. So they think that they can do what a real estate agent can do and they can save money. Now, I understand that. If I wanted to sell my house and I thought that I could do the same thing that a real estate agent could do, by all means. And I understand why they think they could do what real estate agents do, because most real estate agents, not any of you on this line, and certainly not any well-trained Keller Williams agents, when you look at everyone else in the industry outside of Keller Williams, what is it that they do? Sell a handful of homes a year. Most of them are part-time real estate agents, don't have the knowledge, the experience. So no wonder real estate agents have such a bad reputation and Fsbos think they could do the same job. They don't see the value in using an agent. And this is not a belief, what I'm going to tell you now. This is a knowing. I know that Fsbos will list their property with the first agent who can show them the value in paying a commission. The first agent who can show them value will take that listing. They don't see value. Your job is to show value. And in Dominate Your Market, you're going to learn that presentation as well. So here's a tool for you, and I want you to write this down. How do you handle Fsbo and expired objections over the phone? Because Fsbo and expired tend to give us a lot of objections. The first step in handling objections over the phone, in person is a little bit different. Over the phone, you listen intently. And what that means is when they are speaking and giving you the objection, you're not thinking, not in your head thinking about what you're going to say next. You're listening intently so you can do step 2, which is repeat and approve. You cannot repeat and approve effectively, which in my opinion is the most important part of handling an objection, is making them feel like you heard them and you understand them, because until they feel like you heard them and understand them, you want them to listen to you. They're not going to listen to you until you feel you've listened to them. And you cannot repeat and approve effectively without listening intently. All you're going to be able to do is say, great, fantastic, good for you. Does that make anybody feel like you're listening? No. It makes them feel like you're reading from a script. Listen intently, repeat and approve. I completely understand and I hear what you're saying. And, enough repeat and approve. You're going to learn this again when you sign up for Dominate Your Market. Step 3, ask a question to get their attention. If I can show you a way where you would net more money by working with me, is that something that you might consider? That's a question to get their attention. And if they say maybe, then step 4, you close. Great. That's exactly why I'd like to meet with you for just 30 minutes. Are you available today at 3 o'clock? Would 4 be better? There will be times over the phone when you will have to handle the objections, and you're going to learn the objection handlers in Dominate Your Market for any and all of the most common Fsbo and expired objections. And at the same time, your job is not to handle objections over the phone unless without handling the objection, you're going to lose this call. And when you're really listening intently, you can tell when they're about to hang up on you, okay? So You don't handle objections over the phone unless you hit a wall. Your job over the phone is to follow the 4 steps that you see on the screen. Now, these are some questions to get their attention so that you can close for the appointment. I suggest you take your phone and take a picture of this, or somehow get a picture as quickly as you can so you can rewrite and transcribe this later. If there was a financial benefit for you to list with me, embedded command, rather than sell it on your own, would you consider it? And they may say, well, what do you mean financial benefit? That's exactly why I'd like to meet with you for just 30 minutes. Would 3 o'clock work for you today? Would 4 be better? The close. If I can show you a way where you'd be able to put more money in your pocket, and I'm talking about net bottom line, even after my commission is paid, wouldn't it make sense for you to at least hear about that so you can be sure or absolutely sure that you're not leaving any money on the table? One of my favorites, if there was a better way for you to get your home sold, wouldn't you at least want to know about it? Okay, so these are all questions to get their attention so you can then close for the appointment. And here you have some expired closes or questions to get their attention that will lead to a close. Okay, when an expired says, I'm not selling anymore, which is one of the most common expired objections. They have every intention of putting it back on the market. I'm not selling anymore so they can get rid of all these real estate agents that are calling. If you you listen, you repeat and approve, and then you ask. If you are absolutely confident that your house would sell, would you consider putting it back on the market now? Okay. And the great script that you learned from Diana in Bold. I specialize in houses like yours that didn't sell the first time. And I'd like to meet with you for just 30 minutes and show you how I can get your house sold. What would be the best time for me to come by? 3 or 4 today. Okay. So take a picture of this as well. I trust you already did. And here's the information on the next Dominate Your Market. It's starting a week from tomorrow, January 18th. The calls are going to be at noon Central Time, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, noon Central, 1 p.m. Eastern. Dominate Your Market is a approximately 3-month program, and it consists of 12 one-hour weekly calls. I am the coach on all of those calls, and my goal with Dominate Your Market is not by the end of the program. As soon as you start the program, get you inspired to start taking advantage of these amazing opportunities and give you the skills, the tools, and strategies to get out there, contact Fsbo and Expired, set qualified appointments, go out and take listings. So 12 one-hour calls, they're all recorded, and you have access to the recordings, I believe, up to 30 days after the end of the program. When you sign up for Dominate Your Market, you're going to be joining an online portal that is used for all things Dominate Your Market called Basecamp. And on Basecamp, you will be able to connect with other agents that are in Dominate Your Market as well and set up role plays so you can all practice what you're learning together. It requires you to make calls and practice every day, and you're going to have this community that you can network with and set up role plays and accountability partners through Basecamp. And that's where you're also going to have access to the recordings of the class and downloading all of the scripts as well. So, Jasmine, that's it for me. If we have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Great. So the first question is, when listing during a shift, Do you educate the seller about the shift to manage their expectations?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Using market stats is critical. And it will be a great advantage to understand the market stats for the last 12 months. So you can help them as an example. Let's say last January 2017, there were 15,000 homes for sale in your most listing system, and today you have 25,000. So over the past 12 months, the inventory has been growing. The number of sales have been going down, and educating them in terms of what's happening in the market right now. How many homes are for sale? How many are selling every month? How many are being listed every month? How many months supply of homes? Using stats to create urgency for them as well. Absolutely 100%.
Great. So we don't have any other questions at this time.
Wow.
As a reminder, you can
Okay.
enter your questions in the question box on your taskbar.
Okay. We'll hang in here for a little bit and see if anybody has any other questions. Let me go to the bottom screen. That's unusual, Jasmine. We always have so many questions.
I know. So someone did ask when, someone asked when and where are you teaching Bold next? Um, do you know
I
your
am
schedule, Jack?
teaching Bold. Yeah, I'm teaching one Bold location starting next Wednesday in Montclair, New Jersey.
Great. And someone else
Yeah.
asked, how do we obtain FSBO phone numbers? The same question, FSBO phone numbers and expired listing phone numbers.
Okay, so there are endless sources of services that provide Fsbo and expired phone numbers. For legal reasons, as coaches, we don't recommend any particular service. There are several of them. If you just Google and look for Fsbo and expired services for phone numbers, you're going to find a lot of options there. You may also speak with your team leader, and they might be able to recommend some. There are several that will make it really easy for you to have the numbers available to call every day.
Great. And so someone said, I'm a new agent. How do I sound confident with previous sales?
You use your market center's track record when you're brand new. And being brand new, so in terms of closed sales, you're going to use your market center's track record. And being brand new it gives you a lot of opportunities as well. So there are certain scripts that you can use that will cause a seller to want to work with you, even though you're brand new, because you can dedicate all of your time to finding a buyer for their property. Use your market center staff.
Great. And then someone else said, what is your recommendation on getting FSBO leads?
So I'm assuming that's the same question on where to get phone numbers. There are services that, right? Is it Jasmine, or is it a different question?
It was different. They're asking
FSBO leads.
for the leads.
Uh-huh. I'm not sure what that means. The way I'm hearing this question is, where do I find for sale by owners phone numbers? Where do I find FSBOs to call? Online, you can find a lot of FSBOs. There are many websites where for sale by owner.com. I mean, there are endless websites where you'll be able to find for sale by owners. And the easiest way, where you won't have to spend time doing the research, is to use one of the services, one of the many, many services out there that provide phone numbers for FSBOs.
Great. And then someone else said, for expireds on the do not call list, do you recommend an expired packet for a door knock or drop off? And what would be in it?
Yeah, yes. When they are on the do not call list, please do not call phone numbers on the do not call list. If they are on the do not call, you're going to go to the door. Absolutely. And I wouldn't really leave any elaborate package. I would create maybe a one-page flyer where you can maybe put some market stats. Yeah, so they understand the stats. If you have something about your market center that you can put on there, and your contact information. I wouldn't leave anything else at the door other than some market stats, a little something about your market center and their track record. If you have a good track record, you could put that in there. Not a whole lot about what, just you're an active and aggressive agent and you'd like to meet with them to show them how you can get the property sold, your contact information, and that's it.
Great. And so the next question is, will Dominate Your Market focus on calls only, or will door knocking and or mailing and other techniques be included?
It focuses on the script to call them, door knock them, and we focus on the Fsbo listing presentation because that's it. No, I don't share anything else on email campaigns and or mailings. I don't cover that. The program is on skills, script, and dialogue. So you can be a powerful communicator. So when you speak with them, you can set an appointment, you can go out and take a listing. For sale by owners, remember what I said earlier. They're going to list with the first agent who can show them the value in paying a commission. So your job on your Fsbo appointment, the first thing you do before you go into a listing presentation is do what Diana calls a problem presentation, which is helping them understand the problems they have that cost them money and how you can solve them. I covered that in detail in Dominate Your Market.
Great. Someone else said, is it possible to show the two screens displayed previously for both the Fsbo and Expired script lines?
Here they are.
Great. Is Fsbo and Expired's best and the fastest way to get new listings rather than a strong focus on SOI?
You can't choose. Your sphere of influence and past clients are the number one foundation of your business. And Fsbos and Expireds are the second number one. Fsbos and Expireds are immediate businesses. Make a call today, set an appointment, go out and take a listing today. Your sphere of influence is, as Gary talks about in MREA, 2 to 3 years of consistent 33 or 36 touch, providing value with every touch. So you can get that 12-to-2 ratio that Gary speaks of in MREA. So you can find immediate business calling past clients in sphere of influence or your database. And yet we know that that's a long-term commitment to your business. And to get that 12-to-2 ratio, it requires 2 to 3 years of consistent 33 or 36 steps. Fsbos and Expireds is one call, set an appointment, go on and list the property. They become your past clients. Now go on that database, get on that 8x8 36 touch. So it is the fastest source of immediate business. That's it, Jasmine.
So someone else asked, what is the difference between this class, LOS, and bold?
Okay. Wow. Yeah, they're three completely different classes. Dominate Your Market is only focused on Fsbos and Expired. So we're going to have a call on handling Fsbo objections, handling expired objections, the Fsbo presentation, pre-qualifying the Fsbo and Expired appointments that you set, following up on Fsbos and Expireds, closing. These are some of the call topics. Closing for appointments, the mindset that you need to have around Fsbos and Expireds. Okay, that's Dominate Your Market. Language of sales focuses on teaching you language patterns, embedded commands, tie down, downswings. These are some of the ones that we actually teach in bold. They may sound familiar to you. So in language of sales, you're going to master these language patterns, 17 different language patterns. That's Language of Sales, which is an incredibly powerful program that I highly recommend. And then Bold is completely different. Okay, Bold is tough to define. Bold is giving you all the foundational pieces to build a successful business. You do learn scripts. You do learn about Fsbo's Expired, Diana's listing presentation. We talk about past clients here. We give you tools, strategies, and most importantly, Bold gets you in action because we hold you accountable to what is required of you to succeed in real estate. And it's a 7-day class. So all three completely different.
Great. And then we have 2 more questions. Someone
Sure.
says, where can I quickly access the do not call list?
Where can you quickly access the do not call list? I don't know the answer to that. I'm sure there's some database online where you can check for that. If you use one of the many services that provides Fsbo and expired phone numbers, they do note do not call on the phone numbers that are on the do not call list, so you wouldn't have to do all that work. If you're doing the research on your own and you're going on, say, whitepages.com or many of the free websites where you could search phone numbers, if they are on the do not call, you're not going to find them there. And I'm sure there's a do not call registry you could check it against as well.
Great. And then someone says, would you suggest knocking on doors for FSBOs?
Yeah, I think it's a great idea to door knock FSBOs. You call them too, right? You call them. If you're not able to set an appointment over the phone, then you go out and go talk to them in person. We are all much more powerful in person. For some reason, over the phone, it takes a lot more energy over the phone for you to sound confident. And so these are skills that you learn. And at the same time, I absolutely recommend going to Fsbo and Expired doors. If you call them and you're not able to set an appointment over the phone, going to the door is the next best thing.
Okay, so someone asked, will we need a dialer for this class?
Would they need a dialer? Is that the question, Jasmine?
Yes, they said, will they need a dialer for this class?
No, absolutely not. I personally, when I was selling real estate, never used a dialer. I manually dialed every phone number, so no, dialer is not required.
Okay, and in response to accessing the do not call list, someone said your licensing state's website should tell you how to access the do not call list. My real estate class provided it. Okay, and then someone wanted to know, there is another MAPS training program called Marathon Lead Generation and Conversion. How is it different from Dominate Your Market, or are they the same?
Yeah, Jasmine, are you able to answer that question? Because I know the class and I know the coach. I just don't know the specifics about what exactly they teach.
Yeah, I'll answer it. And then someone else said, how do we sign up for your class?
Okay, Jasmine, you can answer that too, right? Aren't you emailing them the link to sign up?
Yes, so we'll be sending out this recording with a link to sign up for the program. You can always visit our MAPS group coaching website where you can access any of our group coaching programs and read about them and sign up if you want.
So that's mapscoaching.com and just click on group, right, Jasmine?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Or just look for the link, or you can go on MAPS Coaching right now and sign up. Do you want to answer the question about the Marathon Lead Generation? The difference, Jasmine? Or
yeah, so the major difference between Marathon Lead Generation and Dominate Your Market is that Dominate Your Market, like you said, Jackie, focuses on FSBOs and expireds, and Marathon Lead Generation and Conversion focuses on how to get the appointments and how to convert those appointments into listings, as well as focusing on your lead generation and your pipeline for those appointments.
Okay, so it's not FSBO and Expired specific, it's just general lead generation.
Yes.
Got it.
All right, and that's all the questions we have today.
Yeah. Thank you so much, everyone, for taking time out of your busy day to be here. I look forward to having all of you join me for Dominate Your Market next Friday. Have an amazing rest of your week. And thank you so much, Jasmine, as always. Bye-bye, everybody.